Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Consultant Proficiency Resources, More Leadership Coaching Tidbit, where we're breaking through traditional leadership style for optimum success. I'm Cheryl, Managing Partner and Founder for CPR, where we resuscitate one business, one lead at a time. CPR is a business ministry whereby we integrate biblical plus business principles for optimum success. So if you desire to elevate your leadership style for 2023, this is the platform for you. Whether you're an educator, corporate executive, a serial entrepreneur, or a small business leader, if you desire to elevate your leadership style and walk the talk in 2023, please go ahead and subscribe if you have not already done so. And of course, hit the notification bell so you'll be advised of all future uploads. And of course, if you're continuing along with us on our pilot episodes in 2022, we thank you for sticking around and doing the work. As we say in James 2:26, faith without works is dead. So it's all about that small, tiny seed, that moment of decision that you are here today. So please be sure to do the work day in and day out. According to James Clear of the book Atomic Habits, if you'd apply 1% daily for 365 days, you would see a net improvement of 37%. But you must do the work. Having said that, welcome to episode 10, theme, The Price of the Truth, The Cost of a Lie, part 2. In episode 9, we featured two leaders, Moses as well as Madiba, who the world knows as Nelson Mandela, and the price that they paid for having moral fortitude, the courage to stand for truth regardless of the price. But there's always a price to pay. So if you have not viewed that episode, we encourage that you do so. And we indicated in honor of Black History Month, celebrated in the United States and Canada, we wanted to pay homage to the men and women who have paved the way for us today. In episode 10, we're going to look at the other arm of that theme. So we looked at the price of the truth in episode 9, and today we want to consider the cost of a lie, because we know in the 21st century, we are really lying is prevalent and is almost acceptable, as in cool. And whether you call it a fabrication, whether you call it a white lie, embellishment, inflating the numbers, a lie wrapped in a ribbon is still a lie. Lipstick on a pig is still a pig. So, lying matters. The truth matters. Character matters. As you make that decision, that small, tiny seed we spoke about, if you decided to begin that process in evolving into a moral and ethical leader, lying does make a difference. And it's important that when we see it, again, we have the moral fortitude to stand up and stand out, because you will be standing out, so that your information, whether in business or in pleasure, is indeed based on the right information. And I said that to say, when we start our journey, even from inception, we see in the Garden of Eden, in Genesis 3:4, when the serpent beguiled Eve, and he indeed wrapped a lie in a ribbon, right? A half-baked truth is still a lie. We could also consider Genesis 4, the story of the first brothers, Cain and Abel. And when Cain slaughtered Abel, and when asked about his whereabouts, he did not know. He did not reveal that. He lied. And he said, "Am I my brother's keeper?" That can be found in Genesis 4:9. So the reality is, why would people lie in today's society? But it started from the very beginning. So people lie really to avoid the truth. They lie for power, for prestige, believe it or not. They lie to save face. They lie for comfort, for money. They lie because sometimes it's easier to tell a lie than to really confess the truth. And giving you the state of our society, in 2002, a study was done by Mr. Robert Feldman. And part of that study, he indicated 60% of the respondents indicated in a 10-minute conversation, they told 3 lies. Now let's extend that 10-minute conversation to a 1-hour meeting. That's 6 10-minute intervals. In that 60-minute or 1 hour or 6 10-minute intervals, if that study is true, then you would have had 6 times 3 is 18. 18 lies in a 1-hour meeting or session. Now, we could consider that this study is back in 2002, and if we fast forward it to 2023, in the 21st century, do you think that number would increase or decrease? Food for thought. I let you decide. But it's important to stand for truth. Now, I would say that fear is the number one reason. It's the engine that drives the lie. And it drives the lie because of fear of being discovered in terms of who you really are, or uncovered, peeling that mask that we have learned to wear and adorn, whether it's excess makeup to hide our blemishes, or whether it's assuming another personality that is not rightfully ours. Fear drives the lie. And once you start one lie, it compacts, it builds upon another. So a lie to begin with is built on a weak foundation because it's not the truth. It cannot withstand. And the lie is based on darkness. And what's in the dark always come out to the light. Because truth can never be stopped. So in order to ensure that you're on your pathway to the truth, you stay the course. That's part of your transformation as a moral leader. Now, if this was one of the characteristics you selected, if you do the work day in and day out, you would begin to see a transformation by simply telling the truth, regardless of the cost. Now, if there's a challenge with the truth, you may also want to consider your tongue, because we have to be as wise as serpents and as gentle as a dove. Allow wisdom to drive your ship. Now, it's important to note Proverbs 2:2 will remind you in episode 9, incline your ear to wisdom. What you read, what you view, what you hear is what's going to build on your wisdom. So if you're weak in this area, if you noted that this is a weakness with your self-reflection, I recommend that you just continue doing the work day in and day out. Do not be afraid of standing for truth, right? Do not be afraid that if you look to the left and you look to the right, there's no one there, because there will be no one there. It's a lonely walk, standing for the truth, and as a result, you may have a lot of foes in the process. But is it worth it? Absolutely. In terms of your faith walk, absolutely. In terms of business, because one lie begets another, you would not need to cover it up and bury it. Because what you then build is a foundation. And then you have a tower, literally a tower of lies. In today's tribute to Black History Month, we want to consider Rosa Parks, regardless of your perspective in terms of where she stands in the civil rights movement. She quoted, "You must never be fearful about what you are doing when it is right. You must never be fearful about what you're doing when it's right." So that takes me to another perspective. You must be fearful when you're telling a lie, because fear drives the lie forward. But if you're in the truth, fear will not be that conductor. So again, you have to do the work. You have to self-reflect and build self-awareness. If you're fearful about someone seeing your finance books, like the IRS, if you are fearful of being audited, or someone asking questions, or being interviewed, or someone taking a look at your life, if you have not really been transparent, it's because of you are fearful of being discovered who you are, or uncovered, unpeeling that mask. Understanding also the work that you do, we say if there's a passion and purpose, it's your love and you're called to do and fulfill your passion and purpose. 1 John 4:18 said there's no fear in love. So if you love what you're doing, what should be driving is passion and purpose for the love of your business. Again, if you're fearful, you must consider what you're attempting to conceal, and you must release it. In episode 9, we recommended and we stated boldly, actually, that we are at a crossroad as global citizens between wisdom and ignorance, between truth and lie, between being sober or being in a slumber, and burying your head like an ostrich, and listening to the masses. One litmus test is the broad road. If you're traveling on a line and train of thought that's a broad road, you may want to think about that broad road, right? The road well traveled more than likely is the road built on lies, which is likely to cave in. In order to, again, counteract fear, we recommend building on wisdom, inclining your ear, as we state in Proverbs 2:2. And it's important when we speak about fear, Proverbs 9:10, the only one we fear, of course, is the one above. So fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. When you understand who your creator is and what he has given you as his creation, then you would know that all is well once you decide to pursue your faith walk and err on the side of truth, not lie. Moving forward, doing the right thing at the right time is what operating a moral business is all about. The right thing at the right time, always. That's our goal. And then we also must consider at the end, don't allow fear to be the driver, to be the conductor in your life. It paralyzes you. It creates a sense of paralysis and analysis. It allows you to commit acts of omission that is absolutely doing nothing at all. And one cannot lead and manage a business with doing nothing at all. One cannot lead a productive life being in the same place for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You must move, but don't be afraid, because again, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Once you understand that, you build your foundation because you're inclining your ear to wisdom. Wisdom builds knowledge, you get understanding, and you would be able to move forward in whatever pursuits you have. As always, we want to conclude with a precept which is coming from 2 Timothy, I believe, 2 Timothy 1:7, and it says, "We are not given the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of strong mind." We are not given the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. So yes, fear also messes with the mind. If you have trouble sleeping day in and day out, and you're totally confused, and again, you're in a state of paralysis analysis, understand it's the fear that's pulling you down. The stronghold of fear is pulling you down. We are not given a spirit of fear. We have a sound mind, and we must build that and incorporate that in our faith walk as we evolve into a moral and ethical leader. So that concludes episode 10. Theme: the price of truth, the cost of a lie, part 2. And this concludes our Black History tribute. However, don't fear, we're going to continue paying tribute to strong leaders, courageous leaders, as we usher in March. We're looking at Women History Month and the courageous leaders who have led the way and made their mark in history. So we're going to not only talk about what needs to be done as you continue doing the work day in and day out, and we will return to the building blocks of leadership. But it's important that we highlight what has been done as it pertains to what you're doing in terms of the works. Again, thank you so much for viewing episode 10, and we hope that you will join us for episode 11.